Uh, Hell yeah. All right. Well, it's a Saturday. It's just after 12:30, and it's been about 2 weeks since I saw these two crazy cats on a screen. So, you know what that means? It's time for episode 102 of Whatchu Spinnin. I'm Dorian, that's Matt, and that's Jake. We are here and we are so excited to talk about some great albums. But before we get into that, we got some shit we got to talk about, which is essentially just, hey, anybody listening to anything cool outside of this three stack of eclectic albums? Anybody listening to anything cool lately? What you got?
What you got, Jake? What you been listening to?
Um, just these albums, to be honest. Kind of was a little busy, was a little hectic Christmas week. Still got our tree up, gonna take it down today. But yeah, I guess not recently, but like a couple weeks ago, stumbled across this artist, Pizza Hotline. I'll send you guys a couple songs, but it's like some like EDM, I guess, kind of ambient music. I think you guys would like it.
Yeah.
Besides that, not a whole lot. I haven't really been too much listening to anything crazy. I guess kind of a cool Christmas present. I got Angela another Manu Dibango album, African Voodoo. Fantastic album. I will bring that up at some point in the pod. But just these albums, to be honest, nothing too crazy.
Nice. I've
Hell
been
yeah.
all over the place. I dove into some random sampling of album from the Avalanches. You ever heard of the
Oh, nice.
Avalanches? Yeah, they're pretty random, kind of just random sampling and stuff like that. A punk band called the Thermals. The drummer for Fugazi, Brendan Canty, produced an album back in the mid 2000s. The Thermals. It's called The Body, the Blood, the Machine. I'll send it in the group chat and throw it out there. It's, angst and fun punk, but it's got some cool melodies and some random lyrics and kind of a cool uh, concept album, if you will. Other than that, just like you said, Jake, some of the albums that we've been talking about this week, and yeah, that's pretty much it. American football's been coming up on my through my DJ. It's probably just a misunderstanding, but yeah,
Nice.
sorry, bad joke.
That's
Misunderstanding. I love that
man,
album.
dude.
It's so good. Like just the melodies and the I don't know. They just play really well together and really enjoy that album. So anytime it comes up, I just turn it up. Never a skip. Yep.
Yeah, that's one of mine that I didn't mention when we did episode 100 and we listed our favorite albums that we've all brought up.
Mhm.
That one for me personally has to be up there. I agree. It comes on every once in a while. I've got a couple of the songs in multiple playlists and yeah, that album rules because it's like, we've covered American football and foxing, and they're kind of almost the same. But American football, like the way that I think it's a lot of it for me is like the way they tune their guitars and like the guitar work on it is
Mhm.
so interesting. Um, but for me, much like y'all saw 2 years ago, more or less, when the Grateful Dead finally clicked in my brain, is like, oh, I get it. That happened in the past 2 weeks, but for Fish. So I've been getting into some Fish, some Trey Anastasio, like just his guitar work. Mike Gordon, the bassist, is fucking unreal. Um, it is a little out there, like even though I'm like, getting into it, some of it I'm like, I can understand why people hate this shit. Much like Death Grips, I'm like, oh, I can understand why people hate the fuck out of this, but uh it just tickles my ear. Like he does, like they do a lot of the way I would describe it is there's like one song I've been getting into called Stash. And it sounds like music that you would listen to walking through the desert. Like, I'll send it to you guys because it is like,
Nice.
what? Like Mirage, like Aladdin type stuff. Uh, but yeah, other than that, yeah, just these three albums. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with these three albums. So it's been a good 2 weeks. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm
Yes.
micless, so just want to make
Yes.
sure.
Loud
Okay,
and clear.
cool.
I've never dove into the Fish catalog, but I'm curious. I'm sure you'll bring up an album at some point.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah,
song? What's
they're
the song called? It's like a desert mirage. Yeah,
Stash.
Stash. Okay.
Yeah. And the one that I've been getting into, they did two nights at the Gorge in 1998. So I was like, oh, I've been to the Gorge, have thought the same thing. Like, I think next summer or whenever it's feasible for me, instead of going to Beyond, I'm going to go to Labor Day weekend instead that summer, just to see because I always sit on the lawn at Beyond and like look out at the sunset as like, fucking blank it, blank it, blank. And I'm like, I just want to hear like satellite, or some shit as the sun's setting. But anyway, so I was listening to that 1998 Gorge album because I put it out as a live album, and that Stash is just nuts. It's disgusting. Like you listen to him long enough and you're like, Trey does some really cool effect. Like I literally watched a 20-minute video on how he does one sound, and I was just because I was like, how do I replicate it? And it's like, well, you need four pedals that I don't have. So,
Yeah.
so I was like, God damn it. All right. Well, when I win the lottery, I'll make a tray board. But with that being said, those are listen to all that shit we just talked about.
Yeah.
But then also listen to these three albums we're about to talk about. It's What You Spin in episode 102. Stick around. But anyway, that's for another time. For today, we've got three great albums to talk about. And I think we're actually going in like chronological year order. And I'm really excited to talk about this album. This one is Matt's. What you got for me, big guy?
Yeah, you wanted to. I'm bringing up The Doors. We haven't talked about The Doors yet, and I figured the best album to talk about would be a live album because I feel like it kind of captures their sound. They have a handful of great albums, but you could start with the opener, their self-titled album or Morrison Hotel, but I felt like this one just captured it all. And this one's absolutely live from 1970. It's a pretty long album. Yeah, some of it was spliced together from different live shows throughout those couple years from I think 1969 to 1970. But for the most part, I think it's from a show in New York. All in all, it captures that sound that Jim Morrison and the Doors had. It was iconic. Is kind of the first, kind of dark rock, not your average, rock and roll band. They were a little bit more darker and lyrically, Morrison was out there with what he was talking about. He was more poetic and upfront and wasn't afraid to be himself. And I think that's what made him who he was. He did leave us a little too soon, but he left a really impactful uh, I don't know, catalog of music that's still listened to today and people love it and resonate with it and still go to his grave site and, throw flowers down. And he's an amazing artist. The rest of the band as well. Robbie Krieger, great guitar player. John Densmore, great drummer. And Ray Manzarek, a keyboard organ player, which they never get a lot of love, but this guy was the bomb. He sang
Dude,
too.
no one has played keys since or prior to that.
Yeah.
And I'll get into it. But yes, just wanted to give my flowers for Ray.
Yeah. And for me, like The Doors was like a high school thing for me. When I started getting into music more, I resonated with Jim Morrison. I watched that movie that I was telling you guys about that Oliver Stone made called The Doors, where Val Kilmer portrays Jim Morrison. And I don't know, he just kind of had the bad boy feel, and it was, I don't know, it kind of resonated with me. And I got into his catalog and fell in love, and who I kind of idolized growing up. Not like a great idol to, look up to, but at the same time, he's a rock god, very inspirational in a lot of different ways. For me, it was helped me kind of write a little bit more when I wrote poetry back in the day. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we hadn't talked about the Doors earlier in this podcast. But I mean, music that we've brought up, artists that we've brought up have drawn inspiration from the Doors. And that says a lot. And kind of surprised that it's this album that we're talking about first, but I think it's a good representation, not only for them as musicians, but also just live music. I mean, hearing an album and seeing it live, perform live, is completely different from what you would be like actually hearing it in a room. Because this one you actually get, their reactions, the feeling, the emotion. It's a lot more personal that way. We've been to a lot of shows. I'm sure that if people that were at this show, because I think this was recorded in New York like a couple different nights, and they just spliced it together. But a lot of that you hear throughout, like you hear the crowd getting rowdy, you hear them wanting an encore, wanting to, all this and that. So it's cool that we get that with this album. And live shows, they're like that sometimes. Sometimes they're a blast, sometimes they're awesome, sometimes they suck. Sometimes it's the crowd that's terrible, sometimes it's the sound, whatever. Some parts of this album, you hear people in the background that are just being shitheads. I don't know what they were doing, but they're just causing ruckus. We've all been to a show like that. Like, sometimes the fans make it bad, but they kind of navigate that. They, muddle the waters and they bring it back. And you get some classics on here that they're playing throughout of it. Soul Kitchen, I really love this version of it on the album. Universal Mind, also a banger. So yeah, it's cool. I like this album. I like the Doors. I hadn't heard this album specifically, but I think it's cool um, that there's kind of a history to this. And yeah, it's a fantastic album, and love the Doors. Glad we're talking about them finally. Um, but yeah, that's about it for right now.
Hell yeah. No, I agree. It's a fantastic live album. I think this is a really good jumping off point, for lack of a better term, with our coverage of the Doors. It's one of those, I love when we wait super long to bring up an artist and then, really get to dive into them now that we're seasoned chicken breasts of podcasting and music historicism.
Chicken
Um,
breast. I like that. Yeah. I'd be a
yeah.
chicken thigh. I'd like to be a thigh. Yeah.
I like a thigh. Hey, a lot more flavor, a lot of more juice. Anyway, well, it's like, and so Matt and I were kind of talking about this before you joined the call, and I told him I was like, "Hey, you're going to hear this again." I love when a live album is not just someone playing their hits, right? Like it's them playing kind of deeper cuts. We do get "Who Do You Love," and they're like, "Fucking fine, we'll play Break On Through," but it's going to be kind of a weird tease thing.
Mhm.
And then Soul Kitchen, and the Soul Kitchen blows it out of the water. Like it's just a fantastic show, top to bottom. And you don't realize, like, oh, looking at this track list and researching this album, you're like, oh shit, the Doors did a lot of covers, but they made them their song. You know what I mean? Like, so "Who Do You Love," I think is I think that one's technically a cover.
That's a Bo Diddley, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a Bo Diddley song, but I couldn't. I'm like, yeah, fuck the Bo Diddley version. The only one I've ever heard is the Doors. Like, you know. So, and to open the album and to open the show with that is incredible. And Jake, you mentioned it. They really do capture what a live show for the Doors was. Like Jim Morrison is kind of doing these long diatribes and being very poetic and all of this stuff, but then they're kind of trying to break a song down and people are talking too much and he's just like shut up! Like just screams
Yeah.
into the mic, and I'm like, yes, it's like a to talk about another album that we brought up when we did Cornell 77, like that beginning banter in Scarlet Begonias where they're like, take a step back. Like it's kind of in that same vein. And
Mhm.
I love that shit. If you do a live album, you got to capture the essence of the show.
Yeah.
And
Like also like the announcer being like, "Cool down, man. We don't want to do anything, man." Like it's like so like 70s fucking that hippie vibe to it too.
right, it is very much. And then he's like, one of my favorite I can't remember what song it is, but at the end of it Jim's just like, very good, very neat. Just kind of
Yeah.
being like sarcastic because they just murdered it, and he's like, yeah, very neat, very good, like whatever. It literally just makes me chuckle. I've laughed at that this morning, and every time I listen to that song I was just like, motherfucker, all right, Jim. But yeah, fantastic album. This is one that I'm gonna put in my rotation for sure. There's a lot of good stuff on here that I'll dive into in a little bit.
Yeah. I like it. It captures him like on stage too, look the banter with the audience and just, being himself, like what you just mentioned, the very cool, very neat, very neat. Like just funny, weird Jim Morrison banter, and I love how he kind of got into into the crowd and like got the vibe going and created his persona, and you can hear it on this album. There's so many good versions of songs on here. Like you said earlier, with the version of Break On Through, with the Dead Cats, Dead Rats, the way that kind of builds up. And then throughout the song, even Ray Manzarek is getting his shot in there and singing as well. So many good songs on this album. Universal Mind, another hidden track that, wasn't on any album really, kind of a live go at it. Not to Touch the Earth, another standout track towards the end of the album. And I like how the album was kind of laid out too. They kind of just, I don't know, they picked and choose very well. I felt like the way they ended the album was good with like the Palace of Exile, listening to him kind of do his poetry and say his thing, and the crowd is dead silent. And I feel like nowadays you would probably not get that, like for a performance. A lot of performances, even some of the more ambient instrumental bands, there's people talking in the background, but there's not anything going on when he's speaking. And I thought that was really cool how they captured that in till the end of time for sure. But yeah, there's so many good songs on here with Backdoor Man, the way that song starts out with
Mhm.
him screaming.
Oh,
I used to turn that up in high school and just scare the shit out of people because he's just belting himself. And
yeah.
I love that. I feel like that's his raw emotion. That's Jim Morrison. Like, I don't know. It still gives me chills every time I hear it. I don't know. And it's on tape. It'll never go away. I think that's really cool how they caught that. And you know, this is a great album. So I'm glad you guys liked it. It's pretty long, but there's so many good songs on this album, and it flows pretty well and shows the talents of all four musicians because they're all very talented. Robbie Krieger's guitar work, he's such a good guitar player. Like even when you watch him play live, the way he plays the guitar is very unique, and like some of the melodies he comes up with, like I don't know, nobody else plays like him at all. So
Yeah. 5-1, also a banger.
yeah.
Mhm.
That one, like, it for a little bit, it was a little hard to get into for me, just because I had heard The Doors, but I hadn't heard this album. But I heard Who Do You Love? I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're getting into. But some of these, yeah, like you guys said, they're a little bit like not really heard that much. Like 5-1, Universal Mind, a little game like that one too. So all throughout this, like it would have been a killer show to see. I'm sure people that were there have crazy stories about it. And it just sounds, I love that they capture that raw audience. Like you just hear, it sounds a lot more pure, sounds a lot more down to earth.
Mhm.
It's not really polished. It's just what it is, like they pick and choose the songs that sounded the best. And I mean, throughout this album, I think it's fantastic. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an album. So like we talk about the Doors, and I feel like we've kind of touched on them a little bit throughout the podcast. And the Doors are a household name at this point in time. Not to no pun intended because their name is literally the Doors. Haha,
Mhm.
funny house joke. It's there. If you listen to it long enough, you'll laugh at it. Anyway, um, but people only know like those big hits that we talked about, right? Like the break Love Me Two Time Baby. Like,
Yeah.
they have these just massive hits.
Mhm.
And while those are good, they do highlight the impressive musicians that are a part of this group and Jim Morrison as a songwriter. If you want to break through the crust that is that surface layer of the Doors that made them a household name, this is the way to do it because this is it's like you don't know the door, like not to sound pompous or whatever, but like you don't really understand how good musicians these guys were or how wonderful of a songwriter and performer that Jim Morrison was until you listen to an album like Absolutely Live, because they really capture this and you're like, oh, there's multiple times on this album where you can just pinpoint the influence that they had on other musicians. We talked about Dead Cats, Dead Rats. That song in and of itself made Glenn Danzig. Like, and you cannot tell me any different. It's just oozing with that Jim Morrison swagger, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what Glenn Danzig completely took his whole shit from.
Mhm.
And but then there's other song, like when they start really breaking these songs down, and the guitar, I cannot remember it. What's his name, Matt?
Robbie Krieger.
Robbie Krieger, like he's doing this like crazy effect work, and you're like, oh, that's uh that's Larry Lamond from Primus. You're like, oh yeah, that's like where like this effect work massively influenced a lot of people, and you don't you don't get that if you just listen to like Morrison Hotel or
Yeah.
their other albums. Like you
Mm.
have to listen to Absolutely Live to really, and I just mentioned it when I was talking about the music I've been getting into, but like to fully get the Doors and like why they were so big and
Mm.
why they still have a lot of lasting influence, you have to listen to an album like this. And so that's why I'm like, hey, fuck any other album you could have brought up. I'm glad you brought up Absolutely Live.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. I think, like we've all talked about, it captures their sound and shows off every talent that these musicians have together. And they definitely, for their short time that they were together, created a sound that was unique and different at that time. Because you had the Beatles, you had the Stones, like, and which is great music. Like that era of music, like I don't want to, take away from any of those bands because that's all good stuff. But like the Doors were different. There's just, I don't know, something about it stood out, and Jim Morrison will always be there in my heart, doing his thing poetically and musically, and just a very I don't know, musically inspirational. It got me more into dark music, like you said, Dorian with Danzig. Listen to the album Danzig 3, the way Danzig looked with the leather pants, no shirt. Yep, pulling off the Morrison look to a T with
It's literally
fucking
like,
Glenn Danzig. When you said that, I was like, "Yep, Danzig 3. Look at that
yep.
up. Good to go."
It's so good. It's so good, and I love that is like a fun. I'm very happy to learn that about you, Matt. That Jim Morrison was a very early influence for you because it's awesome. And I guess I told Matt this also, but we were talking about the Oliver Stone Val Kilmer Doors movie, and I told him, I was like, you know how life is just serendipitous and shit just lines up at a random time? I've been getting into Joe List and Mark Norman, stand up comedians, their podcast, Tuesdays with Stories. Great show. Pretty irreverent. But anyway, I've been going through their backlog and I was listening to an episode last night and they were talking about that fucking door. Like, literally, I was listening to the album earlier in the day yesterday.
Damn.
And then as I'm like wrapping, cleaning up the house, I had this podcast on and they told a funny story about that movie. Like, so Val Kilmer was like in talks with Oliver Stone to play Jim Morrison. And he's like, I'm going to send you 3 videos. And if you can't tell the difference between me and Jim Morrison, you have to give me the part, like as a bet, like kind of fucking with him. And Oliver Stone's like, okay, I'll bite. I could probably tell the difference. Sent him 3 videos. He got a call like that day and was like, "You've got the part." Years later, come to find out, Val Kilmer just sent him 3 videos of Jim Morrison. He didn't do any. He's like, "There's no video of me. It's just Jim Morrison."
Damn.
So fuck yeah. And then Matt, you were saying like Val Kilmer's singing in that movie. So that's
Yep.
what makes it even
Yeah.
crazier is like he could have just sent 3 videos of himself and probably gotten the part,
Yep.
So yeah, but no, the Doors, I mean, Absolutely Live is just an absolutely massive album, just a insane way to get into this group. I personally, I got into the Doors at the same time I was getting into Pink Floyd. And I mean, when the first Pink Floyd album you hear is The Wall, anything else that you're listening to at that point can kind of kick rocks, in my opinion. But obviously, as an adult, getting back into that type of stuff, I've listened to the Doors a bit in my adulthood, but never this album. And holy smokes, if you would have introduced this to me when I was 14, 15 years old, I mean, my head would have flown off. Like it just, it's crazy. Like, because I heard, like I was saying, Love Me Two Times, Break On Through. Uh, but if you would have dropped this in my lap, yeah, my head would have exploded. Like this is just unreal. And it's almost, it's just crazy. I love this album. So thank you, man.
Yeah. They have a handful of good live albums. It was between this one and another double album that had different songs on it, of course, but a good song that they've done that they're known for is the song The End. And The End live is like any version you hear by the Doors, The End, because they usually, they mix it up like Floater would. It's a different version every time. And it's, man, such an epic song. Like, have you ever seen the movie Apocalypse Now, where they kind of introduce that movie and that's the song that's
Mm,
playing when the movie starts?
that's
Very,
okay.
very trippy. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Very cool.
Nice. Okay, I'll have to seek out. Send me your favorite live version of that song. I
All
want to
right, I
hear it.
will. I will.
Hell yeah.
But
With
yeah,
that being said,
let's
any
do it.
final notes, or we want to top three it?
Now let's top through it. Top
Hit me
three.
up.
It's tough, man. It's a double album, so you have to kind of narrow it down. What do I go? What do I go with? The hits or the non-hits? But for me, honorable mention was Break On Through and Dead Cats. The way that whole song starts off and everybody's getting their part in there, and it's an iconic Doors song. So heck yeah. And then 3, 2, 1, Three Universal Mind. Just the way that starts off a little slower, more poetic, more Jim, just kind of behind the mic, sounding a little buzzed and doing his thing, doing time in the universal mind. Number 2, Not to Touch the Earth. I like the way that has kind of a tribal feel to it, kind of a darker song too. And then my favorite song, just the way it starts off, like I said earlier in the when we were talking about it, Backdoor Man. Just a fun song, and he's screaming his heart out, and it's fun.
Hell yeah. I'll go next. Honorable mention for me, Love Hides. I love that one. In Love, like it's just I kind of like the drony kind of feel that it has. Number 3 for me is Who Do You Love? Like I said, just a fantastic way to start this show out. Again, my head would have exploded. Like just hearing that, dum, 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 just incredible. Number 2 for me, not a song we didn't give enough love, in my opinion. Build Me a Woman. That song, like the first time I heard that listening to this album, I was like, oh, Jim Morrison was the fucking man. I was
Well,
like, I get
he
it.
had the Poontang Blues,
Oh my God. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, no wonder everybody wanted to suck him sideways. The dude was a fucking gangster. Like, build me a woman that's 10 feet tall. Like, and you can just that song, I think like that's when the show you can kind of tell the show hit a good rhythm. And he had the crowd just eating out of the palm of his fucking hand. Oh man, Build Me a Woman, great song. And then number 1 for me, When the Music's Over. Um,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, just an
Hit song.
incredible,
Yep.
yeah, fucking Ray on the keys, man. He's doing that bum bum. And this is the thing. I'll go ahead and nerd out about it for 2 seconds. You guys weren't going to escape me talking about bass playing on this episode.
He's playing keys
Ray,
too, right?
yeah, he's playing just keys. Like that was his whole thing.
Yeah.
And so you get these keyboard players that just make incredible bass lines using just the keyboard.
Hmm.
The Wairunga, Fat Freddy's Drop, doesn't have a bassist. It's just the keyboard player. And Ray, the entire Doors catalog is just him. They don't have a bass player at all. And
Yeah.
you're like,
And
and
that was
when the
unheard of
music,
at that time. Yeah. They're like, where's your
it,
bass player? Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's like one of their biggest critiques is that they never had a bass player. And it's like, well, they didn't fucking need one. They had Ray's left hand just hitting those
Right.
bass notes. And When the Music's Over is just such a good example. It's just an amazing example of his just ear for bass and like how to keep a rhythm because a lot of that's just him. Boom, boom. Like so, When the Music's Over is my favorite song off the album.
Nice. Very nice. Got some similarities. For me, honorable mention, Soul Kitchen. Like that. Kind of one of their bigger songs, and also I think it's cool at the end of the show with that. It wasn't just in the cuts towards the end of the album. Number 3, Lines in the Street. I think that it's
Ooh,
really
yeah.
cool, like poetry that he's doing. It's like really cool, like symbols and stuff in the background. I'm sure that was so that would have been interesting to be in live and at any point. Like you could throw that in the beginning, in the middle of the show, whatever. I'm sure it's throwing people off, and definitely one that it was good. Number 2 for me was 5 to 1. And my favorite track was Universal Mind. Same thing with Matt. Just love that song when I heard it. Super good.
Sweet.
Incredible. And an incredible album, Matt. Thanks for bringing it up. That was Matt's pick for this wonderful episode 102. I think that was a great way to start off the episode of Whatchu Spinnin'. That was 1970s Absolutely Live by The Doors. Just a great, great album. Whether you like The Doors or not, I think it's far enough removed from their main catalog, and there's enough deep cuts on this that you'll gain a different appreciation for them and Jim Morrison as a whole.
Yeah. Pretty
Um,
neat, pretty neat, pretty good, pretty good.
I'm so glad you did. Fuck yeah. Oh, Matt, you're a fucking comedian. Anyway, that was Matt's pick for this week. We'll be right back to move it on along and get a little weird with it with Jake's pick. It's Whatchu Spinnin' episode 102. Stick around for us. Peace. for our last episode of 2025, we've got some stuff to cover, aka two albums, but one of them is Jake's, and that one's next. It's a fantastic album. It's Whatchu Spinnin episode 110. Jake, why don't you go ahead and tell the beautiful people what you brought up?
Yeah, absolutely. This is an artist that I've discovered recently and loved. And he did a really cool collab with this group. It's Manu Dibango and Cuarteto Patria, Cubafrica. Came out in '97, I want to say, or '98. It was re-released, repressed. This is a repressing. Uh, so Manu Dibango, he's like a legendary sax player. Um, and Cuarteto Patria, it's like a Cuban group, which funny enough, if it sounds familiar, it's because it is. It's part of the same group that helped do a little bit of what's that album called? Fucking Buena Vista. This is the same people that helped out on Buena Vista. Eliades Ochoa, the vocalist, he's like the same vocalist that does a lot of songs on that
I was
album.
wondering.
Yep.
I was like the instrumentation probably, but I heard that vocalist and I was like, this sounds a little too familiar.
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly the same dude. He helped on a couple songs on Buena Vista, so we just talked about it like, 2 episodes ago, a month ago. So, yeah, something similar to that, but with some jazzy sax, some groovy sax. Super cool when I first heard this. I was really excited to bring it up. So yeah, what did you guys think about it?
I mean, yeah, kind of like I was just saying, it does have that a little bit of familiarity with that vocal, but man alive, Mano Dibango, his sax playing is just out of this world.
Mhm.
And it's like, not that the vocals take away from the instrumentation at all on this album. I almost just want this album as an instrumental and just let Dibango eat. Let him eat, dude. Just let him. But yeah, it's got, much like Buena Vista, it doesn't have as much of the emotional side that BVSC did. But the songs, like Rumba Makosa, like songs like that make you just want to get up and boogie. And it's just
Hmm.
it's a great album, and it puts its hooks in you right from the jump, and it doesn't let go until the very end. And then even at that point, you still want some more. Like literally, the album ended, and I was like, oh shit, that's it. I was like, I need more. I was like, where's the rest?
Yeah.
So yeah, fantastic album. This one is again like much like when you brought up Buena Vista 3 years ago. I'm gonna look for this. It's got to get added to my rotation, and it's gonna be in my pupusa making playlist. So shout out to you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful album cover too. I like the way it looks, and this music just makes you want to move. Listening to it, even in the car, you're just like, I need to be out of my car and like dancing or outside and doing something. Songs like Carnival just capture that, and like you're saying, this instrumentation, the do 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 do, like I don't know, it's just so something funky about it, and they've been doing it forever since the early 60s and throughout the 70s. And I'm glad you brought it up because I'd never heard of it. And it's very accessible and it's fun music. And I enjoyed it a lot. The whole album was fun to listen to. So,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a very
Oh yeah.
fun pick, and it kind of sorry just to insert this real quick here. Um, it's funny to me that these albums, this and Buena Vista are albums from the 90s, but they're timeless. Like you listen to it and it's like, oh, this is one of the one of the cornerstones of Cuban culture. Like it has to be. These songs are so from the heart and have so much emotion in like you can tell that they have a lot of significance. And I think that's something that's really cool about this album is that again like I've said every time we bring up an album that's not in English, I don't understand what they're saying for the most part. Thanks to you, Jake, I do know how to talk my shit in Spanish. Um, and I understand the language of love a little bit, but I digress. It's like these are songs that you could just picture yourself weeping to, listening to like that. Like he's playing, I think at one point, Mono DeBongo is playing like a soprano saxophone, which is it doesn't even have like the crazy bell. It looks like a clarinet, and he's just like Kenny G and the fuck out of it. And I'm like, dude, this guy is going crazy. And then, of course, of course, the vocals evoke an immense amount of emotion for me because it's the guy from that helped a lot with Buena Vista. Um, yeah, and it's an incredible album, and again, one that I would never think. I mean, maybe if I saw it in the record store, it would be one of those album cover grabs where I'm like, oh, this
Yeah,
looks cool,
it
grab it.
would. I'd buy
It
it.
would,
Mhm.
but outside of that or this podcast, I never would have thought to listen to this, and I'm just immensely grateful because, like I said, it's just as impactful to me as BVSC was 3 years ago. So incredible stuff.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you guys like it. It's definitely right up my alley. If you like Buena Vista, if you like that album, you would like this album also. Because it has still a lot of those same feelings, but then with Manu Dibango, he puts in his part. And he's a legendary sax player. He has I was actually listening to it a little bit this morning. He has an album that came out in the 80s, Electric Africa, that he did with Herbie Hancock.
Oh,
And
wow.
Shut
That's
insane,
gonna be so
bro.
good. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Insane. I heard there's only four songs. It's very reminiscent to old Herbie Hancock. Like it only has four songs on the album. It's 30 minutes. It's that feel. It's that same exact feel. And
for
it's
sure. I
fantastic.
mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why
It's
have more? You only need
yeah.
4 songs.
That's all you need. Make each song 10 minutes and it's perfect. But yeah, he's just a legendary artist. And I think it's really cool that it all now comes full circle. Because like hearing this, I was like that voice sounds super familiar, but I can't tell. And boom, it just lines up perfectly. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how it keeps happening naturally. But yeah, Mano Dibango, I think, is like super good with sax. And some songs here, you even hear him like having some dialogue, and because he does have songs where he's singing and stuff. Songs like El Manicero, you hear a little bit of it. And then it's just also really catchy. It's just really catchy, really fun album. Like Matt said, you when you hear this, you wanna, be grooving and moving, and it makes you want to dance, makes you want to move. Songs like Quizás, Quizás, like it's
Yes.
that like
Yeah.
mellow,
Pretty
like
much. That's almost instrumental too, for the most part, I think, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, it's like so mellow, it's so calming. You hear that guitar and then that slow sax just eases in. It just drops the tension. That song is perfect. And then songs like Yerberito is kind of fun. It's like a play on words. Yerba in Spanish means herb. You can make the connection. Love that song. But yeah, this album is just super fun, super kind of cool to get into. And if you like jazz, definitely look into Mano Dibango. Fantastic artist that I've discovered this year, and I think it's definitely shows a lot with this album. You can hear it throughout.
Hell yeah. I'm a big fan. I love it. Like I've said, it's truly wonderful. And to as much as and I mean I'm gonna keep comparing it to Buena Vista anytime we talk about this moving forward. But that song or that album, Buena Vista, is very, you kind of focus more on the vocals, the instrumentation's great, what have you. But this is kind of the best of both worlds. Like this album kind of forces you to listen to the instrumentation, much like on songs like Quizás Quizás, but then you get songs like Rumba Makosa, where it's like, oh, everybody's in, we're
Mhm.
all grooving, we're all shaking and jiving. But I'm a big fan. Thanks 10 times for bringing this up. Should we top it up? Dunkaroo?
Absolutely, yeah. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Um, yeah, definitely listen to both these artists. If you like Spanish, Latin music, and jazz, it's real funky. It's real fun. Honorable mention for me, Promesa. I think that's a great song. Number three, we can start it off. I'll start with three. Carnaval. Um, Kind of a good introduction to the group, to the band Cuarteto Patria, and you really hear that Ochoa vocal. I think it's really cool that um, they're on this with Mano Dibango. It's the best of both worlds. Number two, Yerberito, and then my favorite track, Quizás Quizás. Like if you listen to this album, that song is probably gonna stick with you.
Yep.
So yeah.
I agree.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Uh, Start with honorable mention for me would be Carnival. I think that one captures the sound for me. It's very dance heavy and it just makes you want to move and kind of a delightful kind of vibe to it. Number three, Rumba Makossa. That's another, upbeat kind of happy song. Really like that one. Number two, I'm gonna, butcher this name, but Cierces Roses. That was a pretty good song. Like that one. And my favorite track was Quizás Quizás. Like that one. Had me going.
Hell, hell, yeah. Honorable mention for me, El Manicero. Really like that one. It was just a nice kind of, it was a good one, kind of in the middle there. Or actually toward the end. Oh my God. Anywho, number two for me was, or no, sorry, number three was Rumba Makosa. I already talked about that one. It's just bam, 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 bam. Number two for me is Quizás Quizás. We talked about that one a lot. It's a wonderful track. And number one, another song that we didn't really talk a whole lot about, Son de la Loma. Really liked that
Nice.
one. That one just all around tickled my ear, and it was it was one of those songs that you go back to, and every time you listen to it, your ear picks up something different every time. So Son de la Loma is my favorite. And with that, look at that. We're done talking about Cubafrica.
Down, one to go.
Two down, one to go, baby.
Go. Here we go.
And
Go
it's
Patriots. Go
what
Patriots.
was that?
Go Pats. I said go Pats. Go
Go
Patriots.
Pats, baby. Hey, we're playing the Jets tomorrow, and then the
Oh,
Dolphins
watch
next
out.
week.
Yeah.
Are you
Watch out.
fucking kidding me? Yeah. It's hey, mark it, chalk it up right now.
Yeah.
W.
Either, yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk in my closing. In my closing, I'll talk about the fucking Patriots. Don't you worry. But anyway, that was Cuba Africa, I believe, released in 1997 or 1998 by Mano Dibango and Quarteta. What is it?
Patria.
Cuarteto Patria. I was like, I can pronounce it. I was practicing this morning. I was like, I got it. I just
You
forgot what
got
the
it.
fuck they were called. Anyway, that was Jake's pick for this wonderful episode 102 of Whatchu Spinnin. We'll be right back to talk about my pick for this week and wrap up this wonderful episode. It's been a blast and it's going to continue to be. So stick around. Let's go ahead and bring you guys to today's content once again. It's episode 102 of Whatchu Spinnin. We've got one last album to talk about before we can let you know what's coming in about 2 weeks' time. As always, that's Matt, that's Jake, and I am Dorian, steering the ship as always. It's my turn. And as I prefaced when I brought this album up, not expecting a lot of good talk. I'll nerd out about it. You guys can say how much you hate it. I don't care. But it's 2012, the debut album from rap trio or rap group Death Grips. MC Wright is the MC, and then Andy Morin does the keys and like production side, and Zach Hill is the drummer. Honestly, weird. It's all over the place. I feel like if you liked Machine Girl, and you might like this album. There's at least a little bit of crossover. I'll get into the connectivity of this album and this group in relation to stuff we've covered here in a minute. I'm a big fan. This is one that like I had heard a song off of and then kind of gave it the old college try in the spring and kind of just fell in love with it. The Money Store by Death Grips, their debut album from 2012 or from 2012. Imagine if it was 20,000 in the year 20,000. No, from 2012, my pick. Go ahead and let me know what y'all think.
How dare you bring this up and throw a wrench into our podcast? I think this is what the podcast is about. Like this album, I think it's different. It's unique. Like we haven't brought up an album like this before. It's fun. It's hip hop. It's like put together garage rock. You could label it with anything you want to, but at the end of the day, it's catchy. Songs like Hacker, I don't know, it's just we got the coconuts, bitch. Like it's fun music for me. I think even David Bowie listened to some of Death Grips. Like everybody's a fan of this band, and it's fun. I haven't listened to anything else by him. This was a first for me. I'm kind of glad you brought him up because I'd heard the name before. I think you brought them up before and talked about the band, but I've never listened to any songs by them. And this is a great album to get introduced to, and it was fun. I love it. Yeah.
Hell
I hate
yeah.
this album. This album sucks. Um, no, it's so here's the thing. I had heard Death Grips before. I had heard I've seen footage off of this, and I think
Oh,
you mentioned Dorian to listen to a song off of here. It might have been that one. But I'd known about this group before. Wasn't really too into them at first, like couldn't really get around just their sound because it is all over the place. It's hip hop, it's rock,
Yeah.
it's horrorcore, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit of
Oh
mix of
yeah.
everything. Electronic, there's it's all over the place. The production is really unique, the vocals are really unique, their lyrics are really unique, so it's really different. And I feel like it's not trying to be hip hop, it's trying to be its own thing. So that kind of at first didn't really get me too much into it, but now actually going through it and giving it a couple of listens, the more you listen to it, the more you like it. And it's really catchy. Couple songs like Double Helix, I hear that just repeating in my
Oh,
head. The double, like I hear that in my head. I hear Punk Way, I hear songs like that. Blackjack. So it is like it after a while it does get really catchy. It is like good. You start hearing it for what it is. But for initial thoughts, for sure, people won't like it. But just give it more time, listen to it, actually appreciate, and you will like it. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Couple songs here definitely are really catchy. They're really good at doing that. They're really good at just drawing like one or two phrases and that just sticks with you. It resonates with you. And yeah, it's definitely a unique listen, unique band that we haven't talked about before, but it's definitely one for the books, one to listen to.
absolutely. Yeah, and it is you guys kind of both said it perfectly. You can't really pigeonhole it into a genre because as soon as if you listen to the album cover to cover as we do, you at a certain point you're like, "Oh, this is a this album." But then the next song you're like, "No, wait. It actually is like bleeding into like this weird beats and breaks stuff away from this hip hop." And it does have just absolute earworms, like the Lost Boys, like that sample just plays in my head, like and then also like the beginning vocal line to the Fever, like how would you know, but I got like,
mhm.
but it's like these type of things where it's so interesting, right? And I think that's what drew me to it was like because I've seen footage. I think like that's an amazing song, but I wanted to give it because it is like one of these albums that is, if you know about this album, you love it. Like, especially in the like record collecting community, like if people have this album just for the sake of having it because the album cover is very polarizing, all of this stuff, as much as like I won't get into it. I'm not a big Anthony Fantano guy, but he does cover music like we do, so I got to pay my respects. But I think this was the first 10 that he gave to an album, which is really saying something because, I mean, that was in 2012. This is also the guy who famously gave My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West a 6. So he clearly has something wrong with him because that's also a 10. But I digress. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, so like to put it into perspective, right, of someone whose opinion is very valued in music still to this day, to have this album be his first top 10 and he's only given out like 6 since, I mean, what are we doing here? And then you listen to this album and you're like, oh no shit, and the through line for this is actually very interesting because if you like getting into Machine Girl, I've been in like those forums, people also constantly quote or like reference MC Ride and Death Grips in this album in particular. Oddly enough, the Aphex Twin community is very into this album in this group. Uh, and then also, one of my favorite through lines is Zach Hill, the drummer, was the drummer on the one and only Team Sleep album,
Oh, cool.
which is like one of the 8 side projects of Chino Moreno.
Oh,
And that album's fantastic, and it's very much it's like it's pretty crosses. It's like more
Yeah,
Deftones leaning than
it is
crosses.
crosses. Yeah, it's early
Yeah,
crosses. It's
it's early. Yeah,
pre-cross.
exactly. It's fetal. It's the fetus stage of. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna spit out my Celsius on the
It's
laptop.
it's fetal. It's
It's
fetal
fatal
cross.
crosses. Yeah.
Yeah, but you listen to it, and so you listen to an album. So all of that to be said, that's Zach Hill drumming, and you
Yeah.
listen to it, you're like, oh, he's actually like this is a great drummer, whatever. And then you listen to this, and you're like, what what the hell? Like, where did he get that? Like, it's just one of those crazy things. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this album. It kind of got me through a lot this spring and summer. It was just a good it's a Friday morning. I'm pissed that I have to go to work. I'm going to throw this album on and just, how'd you know? Blah, blah, blah. Just driving down 126. So, Money Store Death Grips, baby. A fantastic album.
Yeah, this album it does have a pretty and this group in general just has a really diehard community. And it is interesting because I have been on forums and I was actually checking out Death Grips Reddit forum today, and people obsess about this song and ex-military a lot. That being their mixtape before this, but this being
Ex
like
Military
actual.
is so good.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
fucking fantastic.
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard a single song off of it. And this makes me want to because if they were doing something before this that is also praised and loved by their fans, like it, I mean, they're doing something right. And it is kind of polarizing because I think more so visually and when you hear it, it's not anything that you like. It's not going to play in the radio. You're not going to walk into, Weimar and hear this. So you really it's not accessible by any means. It is not something that you would get into.
Hold on. Out of all of the chain stores, you picked Weimar.
I don't know, bro.
At least in Albertsons, they play Pearl Jam. You could have picked that.
Hey, Weimar.
Course you're not gonna get
Raise his hand on a pedal, me to call.
Sometimes
you're
you
not
just
gonna
gotta go
get
to Weimar and get a. They have a
Jesus
whole
Christ,
section of
Jake.
drinks that are just unrefrigerated. They're just sitting
Warm.
room temp.
Warm. Yeah.
Why not? But
Uh,
my point is, like, you're not gonna hear this out in the wild. It's not gonna come
Especially not
up.
in my mark. Yeah.
Definitely
No,
not Weimar.
no.
Uh,
Or
but
Albertsons.
No.
the community behind this, they hold it up to a certain
Mhm.
standard. And you kind of hear that. You kind of hear the difference of it. It's trying to be different. It's trying to be unique, and they succeed.
Yep.
And I think that's why people still to this day talk about it, listen to it, bring it up. So yeah, it's cool that I had been putting it aside this so long, and now I can appreciate it. Now I do listen to it, and I'll listen to ex-military. I'll have to give it a listen because I am genuinely like interested in this. So, yeah, great pick. Thank you for bringing it up. I wouldn't have heard
Yeah.
this anywhere else.
No. Hey, just like with the other two albums that we've covered today, I think that's kind of the theme of today is we wouldn't have heard this unless we did this pod.
Mhm.
And yeah, just a quick side note: if you guys are into or like want to listen to ex-military, I don't think it's on streaming. But the cool thing about Death Grips is you can go on their website and download, I think, all of their albums.
Oh wow. Nice.
So I literally have ex-military in my files browse. Like I can just click it on my phone, and it's super straightforward. But yeah, listen to ex-military. The other one I really like by them is No Love Deep Web. Uh, Hilarious album cover. It's censored everywhere because it's literally I think it's Zach Hill's penis, and it just is written in
Oh
Sharpie
my
on
God.
his erect dick. No Love Deep Web is the album cover. So literally, you could go. Actually, when we went to Sasanta, I bought this album,
Oh.
and it was a toss up because they also had ex-military and they had No Love Deep Web, but it's the original album cover uncensored, so it's literally in a black bag like they used to do in the fucking 80s. It's sick. It's I was like, "Oh my god." Like so it is like, they're it for lack of a better comparison, and because I don't think their stage theatrics are as crazy as this comparison I'm about to make, but they're kind of like the Gigi Allen, like MC Right. They're like kind of like Gigi Allen leaning, where they're like trying to get a rise out of people, which is really cool because we haven't seen that since Alice Cooper, Marilyn Manson. Like we haven't seen something like that in a really long time. And I mean, I think it makes it cooler the fact that their music is so polarizing that it's not something that's mainstream. So we're not seeing it to such a degree that we did with Manson and Cooper and all of these guys. But all
Man,
that
put
to be
me the
said,
Gene Gallon string. Wow, we haven't heard that name before on the podcast.
hey,
That's a bad mofo.
That is
that
a
is a
bad
bad move.
mofo.
That's why I was like, I don't think their stage theatrics are, but like the music and everything, like
Yeah.
it's without eating his own fecal matter on stage. Like Death Grips is like as close as the modern day Gigi Allen as I think we're gonna
Right,
get.
right.
But with all that to be said, that's the 2012 debut, The Money Store by Death Grips. I think I'm ready for top threes if y'all are. Cool. I'll go ahead and kick us off. Honorable mention for me is System Blower. I just think like once that chorus kicks in, that System Blower, System, like you can just see the crowd. Like a lot of this album, you can just imagine what it's like live. You're just like, oh my god, I would have a broken jaw, like I'd fucking headbutt everybody. Number three for me is Hustle Bones. Uh, I think like that instrumental is just crazy, like that underneath the hustle bones coming out my, and that's like this is the last point I wanted to make actually. The thing that I really love about this album and listening to Death Grips in general is that the production plays into the rapping, right? But then in the opposite direction, the rapping plays into the production, like and Hustle Bones is one of those songs. Double Helix is another one. And you get what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I don't want to show my own ass. But number two, I've seen footage. I mean, again, the rapping playing into the I go bring like incredible. If you listen to I've seen footage and you don't want to ram your own head through your car windshield, you don't have you're not a human. Like you don't understand human emotion. It's just I hear that and I'm like, all right. And the number one for me is Double Helix. And just to talk about its version of that, interplay is that double. He starts like chopping. He doesn't say double helix until like the beat kick. It's very God. I'm going to do my own hour-long talk about the interplay
By
between.
myself in the corner.
Yeah, I literally will, and I'll light candles. But yeah, so stay tuned for Whatchu Spinnin After Dark with Dorian. I'm gonna be in a velvet robe. I'm gonna be dressed
Trying to
like Hugh
summon Jim
Hefner.
Morrison through a straw. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Double Helix is my favorite song off of The Money Store.
Nice. Yeah, polarizing album, but thank you. Um, I'll definitely listen to Ex-Military. I'll let you know what I think. And I will join you in that after hours podcast. Don't you worry. Honorable mention for me. I've seen footage. I think that is the most popular song off of here. It's really catchy. The beat is definitely a little bit more not as crazy as these other one, which is crazy to say because that beat already in itself is a thing of its own. Um, I've seen footage. Honorable mention. Let's get into top threes. Number three, Hacker. Thought that song was really catchy. It's at the end of the album. Number two was Blackjack. And then favorite track, Double Helix. I do like the chops, the samples that he does. He kind of like uses his voice as an instrument. It's really cool. I think the production on this is really unique, really crazy. So yeah, I'm interested to see what else they have. But great pick.
Yeah, this is
Hell
fun
yeah.
album. This is like what the podcast is about, bringing up different genres that you can't really pinpoint and describe and finding something that we like about those bands. So for me, honorable mention was Lost Boys, like the samples using that one, just kind of catchy. 321, I've seen footage, like Jake said, one of the more catchier songs on the album, definitely accessible for anybody. Double Helix was number two, and then Hacker was my favorite song. Lyrically, it just stood out for me and was a catchier one. And being the last song on the album, what a banger. We love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Hell yeah. Hacker. Good track. One of the ones I admittedly have slept on a little bit up until today. I'll have to go back and give that one another 5 time in a row listen through. But anywho's, that was my pick for this wonderful episode 102 of Whatchu Spinnin. That was the debut from 2012 by Death Grips, titled "The Money Store." Yeah, it's another one that it's like I'm glad we waited this long to bring it up because I think we could appreciate it. I think there's something. If you like music and you like this podcast, I think Matt put it perfectly. This is kind of what the podcast is all about. Is discovering weird, wonky shit like this, and so yeah, and I think that's kind of the theme for today's episode. So go ahead and listen to all 3 of these albums, but in particular this one. Because I know if you're a fan of this pod, you've at least heard the name The Money Store by Death Grips. So listen to it, goddammit. Okay? Anyway, that's my pick for this week. That's Matt. That's Jake. I'm Dorian. Go ahead and stick around. We'll be back in a couple seconds to let you know what's coming next episode. So just spin. What's up, everybody? It's Dorian, aka Jock Mehoff, 2-time Elden Lord. Joining me is Matt, soon to be Elden Lord, and Jake, also soon to be Elden Lord. We are Whatchu Spinnin. This has been episode 102. We talked about 3 great albums. Once again, an episode that I think is a perfect highlight of what this podcast is. Very out there stuff, very polarizing, but kind of something that we can all get into with every album that was on the menu today. It's everybody's favorite part of every episode, where we let you know what's coming in approximately 2 weeks' time for episode 103 of Whatchu Spinnin. As always, with everything, we go in the order that we spoke today, which means, Matt, let me know what's coming, brother.
Well, here it comes. I'm like 99% sure I've not brought this album up, but if I have, you can stop me and be like, okay, dude, start over and we'll circle back around. But this one's from 2024. It's by an Iranian artist called Arouj Aftab. It's called Night Rains. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Kinda.
You're lost in space, Matt.
Lost
Can't
in
see.
Space. There it is. It's called Night Rains. And the artist, Arouj Aftab. She's from Iran. She's Iranian. Very poetic. More mothers on this album as well. A couple other
Nice.
inserts as well. So it's a little slower. It's a little bit more somber, but I feel like time of the year is a good time to bring it up. So
Oh yeah. If we're
Rouge
if we're
Aftab.
forced if we're forced to be indoors, bring up that somber stuff, dude.
Yeah, there you go. I think
And I
you'll like
do
it.
not. I think you've mentioned this. I don't think we've covered it, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
And this is an autographed version of the vinyl too.
Ooh.
Hand signed.
Now I'm jealous, Matt. Now I'm jealous because I as well own this album, but mine is not signed.
Oh,
Uh, so I am excited for that. I have heard that
yeah.
album. It's quite good. My pick, I am bringing up an album that I just went to go see these guys not too long ago. Bad Bad Not Good. IV, or in Roman numerals 4. Came out in 2016.
Sweet.
Very good. My turn. My turn. That will never not be funny to me, at least. I am taking a page out of Matt's book, or kind of like riding that wave of his album that he brought up this episode, and being one that it's like I'm surprised we haven't covered this. It's a good one to bring up. We haven't talked about this artist. They're massively influential. I've wanted to bring this album up for a really long time, and to be quite honest with you, I was torn between bringing up 3 absolute classics, and this is the one I settled on. I do not have any of my albums here, so you're gonna have to just look at the image as it pops up. I'm going with 1984's "Purple Rain" by Prince.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, figured we'd cover a classic. There's a lot of really good stuff on this. It's an incredible album for a reason, but one that I've been listening to since I was in fucking diapers. So I'm really excited to talk about that. But yeah, 1984's "Purple Rain" by Prince.
Wow. I think I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but I think it's one of the first times it's happening to me. I can spin all of our picks.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. I don't
It's
think that's
awesome.
happened to me. Yeah, that's not happened to me.
Uh, the revisit was the last one I was able to. I've had like maybe one or two prior to that, but the revisit episode, episode 100, I did spin all of the picks. But
Nice.
yeah, so we've got Bad Bad Not Good 4, Night Rains by Rouge Aftab, and then Purple Rain by Prince. And that's going to be episode 103 of Whatchu Spinnin'. We want to thank you personally from the bottom of our hearts for taking time out of your busy holiday and New Year schedule to listen to this episode and join us for episode 102. We've obviously done a shit ton of episodes, and there's only more to come. We thank you guys for sharing the pod and music with your friends. I think even if you don't share the pod, just share music with your friends. That's kind of what the whole steez is behind this. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Whatchu Spinnin'. Follow me at Dorian Dilly. I'm getting more into like posting me playing music, which is really fun. Follow Truffle Jam Band. I think it's trufflejam.band on Instagram. My buddies, they're playing music in Eugene. They're great. Still be on the lookout. I might be posting stuff because I'm like writing stuff. So I'm probably going to be posting music that I'm writing and working on with those guys. Go ahead and stick around for that. But yeah, go ahead and yeah, in this holiday season, if there's one thing you can do is just we ask that you just share the podcast, but also if you are listening to music and you think of someone that you maybe haven't talked to in years, go ahead and just send it to them. Be like, hey, the song made me think of you. Uh, check on your funny friends in this time of holiday season. I know I'm a big believer in that. Your funny friends are the ones that need checked up on the most. So go ahead and do that. Not to get sad about it, but anyway, I digress. That's Matt, that's Jake, and I'm Dorian. We are Whatchu Spinnin', and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us. Have a great holiday and have a great new year. We'll see you in about 2 weeks. Whatchu Spinnin'. Take it easy.
Well, yeah.